encrypt text messages that you send back and forth. Maybe, and if you want to encrypt phone calls, and you say, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. But see, that's the thing. They're trying to build a database of you on what you say, how you talk, what you talk about, what your interests are, what your dislikes are, and things like that. They're building a database of you. Encrypt your phone. I actually surprised our webmaster. She didn't know anything about this. I have been using here for a while a VPN, virtual private network, for my home computer, for my iPad, for this computer here. I have it turned off now because it kind of slows the transmission a little bit. But when I'm done with the broadcast, I turn it back on. What is a virtual private network? It is a piece of software that encrypts your internet, and it goes past everybody that wants to look at it in an encrypted form, and it goes to a private server, and then it goes to a website that you're trying to look at. And all the website can see is this private server. It cannot see your IP address, so it cannot be linked that this is who you are and what you're looking for and what you're reading online. And of course, if you wanted to break the law, that would be one of the ways to do it. But if you are interested in not having the government, or anybody else for that matter, monitor everything that you're doing online and building a profile and database of you, that is one way of doing it. Now, I probably will, I look for it sometime in the future for the government and for other governments in the world to want a backdoor way into the VPNs, the virtual private networks. And there's different companies that'll do it for you. It may cost you $5 to $15 a month, depending on what service you get and so on. But if that's something that you're concerned about, maybe it's time to flip the switch on those who are monitoring everything that you do and say, you know what? I have a constitution that says you don't have a right to look into what I'm looking at online, or who I'm talking to, or what text messages I'm sending, or what's in my emails. I have a right not to let you look at it. So maybe it's something you might want to look into. Let me tell you, I'm thirsty. Let me take a drink of water here. Somebody sent me, no, they didn't send it to me. I saw it on Facebook. What am I trying to say here? A video of, what's her name? Keisha? See, I don't know some of these names. Keisha, with a $sign in it. I don't know if that's how it is or anything like that. But it was posted on Facebook, and I happened to see it while I was on vacation. I made a note of it because I'm going, I think I know what that is. I actually watched the video today, and I'm going, oh, there's a bigger picture here than what was posted on Facebook. The thing that was posted on Facebook, let me show you the graphic here, is that of Keisha on stage, live MTV broadcast. She is drinking blood from a human heart on stage. Now, I don't think it was real blood, but it may have been. I don't know. I don't really care. It's the symbolism of what she's doing here. And as I looked at the video itself, I'm going, okay, I see more to this. There's more to it. Now, I'll just say this. I'm not going to show you the video. I just gotten to where I just don't do that much anymore, but I will show you clips and little stills, pictures of highlights of this particular video and this ritual that she was performing on stage. By the way, let me just say this. Let me take the top graphic off here. There we go. I'll say this by way of introduction. Rock and roll is still the devil's music. And I'm going to get an email from somebody going, hey, you don't have a right to say that, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, rock and roll is the devil's music. The fruit is out there. The truth is out there. Anybody with a brain and a Bible can understand that rock and roll is the devil's music, and you ought not listen to it. You ought to stay away from it. It's full of Satanism. It's full of drugs. It's full of fornication. It's full of anti-Christ ideas. It is full of what? I don't only listen to Christian rock. Really? Really? There is such a thing as Christian rock? I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, Lindsay caught this and sent it to me. I think this is Kanye West. It's an album cover that he apparently has recently come out with. And if it came out a year ago, it's news to me, all right? It's brand new to me. But I want you to notice, I want you to just look at it, okay? He's got his 3 babes here. He's got a crown. It looks like a crown of thorns. Let me see if I can do a close-up here just for my benefit to see. It kind of does look like a crown of thorns, but my picture is a little bit blurry here. Notice the gal on the right who's sitting there. She's got a snake tongue sticking out of her mouth. The obvious terminology, Jesus, and the upside-down cross is indicative. I'm just telling you, rock and roll is the devil's music, and all of these people who have gotten their fame and fortune and everything else from rock and roll music, they, at some point, they said, I'll give up my soul for this money. Those who go on American Idol, and it always ticks me off when I hear about on American Idol some pastor or some youth pastor going on American Idol trying to become some big hot shot for Jesus. I'm doing it for Jesus. If I become real popular, then everybody will look at me and they'll all get saved. That's the concept of these people, and that's unbiblical itself. Because the scriptures tell us that God doesn't use the big things of the world. He uses the small, little, insignificant things of the world, like people like me and you. He uses the weak things to confound the wise. He uses the poor to bring down the rich, the weak to bring down the strong. That's what he does. He doesn't use the popularity of people. I kind of changed my opinion of celebrities and things like that with Kurt Warner back in 1999 when the Rams went to the Super Bowl and won, and Kurt Warner's talking about Jesus everywhere. Well, we started noticing that his testimony started going downhill and everything else. And these people think, well, if we can just get the big celebrities to say Jesus and be celebrities, and they'll get everybody saved. That's not how it works, people. That's not how God decided in his infinite wisdom to do it. Because if that's the case, then that excludes people like me and you from witnessing to people and having an effect in people's lives. But if you'll just go and study the scriptures, you'll find that God used the lame people. He used the sinners. He used the publicans. He used harlots. He used fornicators. He used drunkards. He used incestuous people. He used wicked, hell-deserving sinners, people who were weak and couldn't build themselves a popularity. People like that. That's who he used. That's who he used. I won't say that. But anyway, that's the idea behind Christian rock. Everybody says, well, if we can just get the Christians saved and the youth pastors going on American Idol, boy, that's going to change the world for Jesus. No, it won't. It's taking them to another Jesus. So anyway, the rock and roll is absolutely the devil's music. We used to see stuff like this back in the 70s and early 80s with Led Zeppelin using tarot cards for album covers, and Ozzy Osbourne using some of the graphics, Blue Oyster Cult, Electric Orchestra, places like that, AC/DC, Rush, and different bands like that using occult symbolism and occult ideas on their album covers, and now this seems to be a revival of that. But let me go back to this video where Keisha, I guess that's who that is drinking the blood from the heart. What I did was I went back to the beginning of the video, and it's very obvious that she is in the and I didn't listen to music. I don't like to do that. I didn't listen to music. Maybe I could have found out what song she was singing and look up the lyrics. But it becomes obvious that she's performing a ritual on stage in front of everybody, and everybody's going, woo! Or whatever hand gesture they make. Woo! 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 Everybody's getting into it. They're devil worshipers. They don't know it. And that's the gimmick. You don't have to believe in the devil to be a devil worshiper. But that's what she's doing. And so anyway, she's got, these sleaze bags, these harlots that sing this music. They always have their little boy toys on the stage, and all these boys and men are bowing down to them and wanting them, and she's playing hard to get. She's in control. And I want you to think about, as we look at this, I want you to think about what spirit that is. She is in control. Think about it. She is always in control. She is a harlot. She's a witch, which means that she practices rituals. Jezebel was a witch, and she had her witchcraft, her power over Ahab, her power over the kingdom. Things like that. And when you get a look at this, this is what she's doing. But there's what's interesting. There's one particular boy toy on the stage with her that she kind of plays with a little bit, and then they bring out they roll out this great big giant X, and they hang this guy on the X. Does that look familiar to anybody? Do you remember Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god of Mesoamerica, Mexico? He is the fiery flying serpent. He's the beast, the dragon, or whatever, that according to the ancient mythologies was hung on a cross and killed, and he is the dying god, and he awaits his resurrection. He awaits being brought back to life again, and he's hidden somewhere. Where is he hidden? Where is the remnants of his person, of his body? It's in the X. It's in the chromosome. That's displayed for you right on the stage there. And I looked at this and I'm going, okay. I saw them roll the X out and I'm going, what are they going to do with that? They're going to do something with that. It's on stage for a reason. Why didn't they just bring a pole out? Why didn't they just do that? But they brought this X out, and it is obviously a reference to the dying God in the chromosome, in your DNA. See, this is what, and in case you haven't, I like to just kind of rehash things that I've taught before, things that I've seen before. Romans chapter 7. If you want to get an idea biblically of what this is, here's what Paul said in various places. He said in Romans 7, verse 8, "But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence, for without the law sin was dead." And then he says in, let's see here, verse 13, "Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid, but sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me." Death in me. What is this now? Okay, let me pull this back up here. What is that a picture of? It's death in me is what it is. And then, let me go back here, and then the Bible says, verse 17, "Now then, it is no more I that do it, but